Hello, and welcome to the Breaking Defense interview series. I'm your host, Barry Rosenberg. Today, we're going to be talking about Internet Operations Management for Network Situational Awareness. Joining me to discuss this is Joe Lin, Vice President of Product Management for Cortex Government. Joe, welcome to the program, and thank you for joining us.
Barry, thanks so much for having me.
So let's jump in with the first question. Is IOM for military networks different than it is for federal or industry networks?
Great question. Not at all. And maybe to kind of help put this within context, let me first start by answering what is Internet Operations Management, or IOM, right? IOM is how an organization, a large, complex, distributed organization, continuously discovers, monitors, manages, inventories all of its internet-connected, internet-facing systems. And this includes everything from traffic with gray-space internet to various types of devices and assets that are exposed on the public internet, hosted either on premises or in the cloud, right? And so when we kind of look at internet operations management from that perspective, it's easy to see the applicability, not just for the military, not just for various departments of defense, but also for federal civilian agencies, for large government networks, but also for large commercial customers as well, like Fortune 100 companies. All of them have this fundamental problem, which is around how do they manage, understand, track, discover everything that belongs to them that is exposed on the public internet, and how do they manage this process in an end-to-end, in an integrated end-to-end fashion.
Thanks, Joe. What makes military networks particularly suited to IOM?
Yeah, so military networks are, generally speaking, very large. They can be highly federated in nature, which makes managing all of your internet-facing assets that much more difficult. In the military, there's this concept of command and control. And because of the large, distributed, highly federated nature and sometimes expeditionary nature of military networks, it makes command and control of those networks that much more difficult or that much more complex, which is part of the reason why there's such a demand, such a need for IOM capabilities in militaries around the world.
Good information there, Joe. How does IOM play with legacy systems?
Yeah, so a big part of legacy systems is oftentimes ensuring that they are properly secured behind firewalls, making sure that they're not exposed on the public internet because they may have inherent vulnerabilities, vulnerabilities associated with their software that are simply unpatched, that simply are no longer supported by their original manufacturer. And so because these vulnerabilities can be so serious and so easily exploitable by adversaries, it's that much more important to ensure that they're properly secured. What IOM enables owners of legacy systems to do is to first and foremost ensure that they're not exposed on the public internet, that they're not discoverable by adversaries, that they're properly secured. And if there's ever any sort of misconfiguration that occurs where these types of legacy systems are unintentionally exposed on the public internet, they're discovered as soon as possible, ideally before an adversary has the ability to exploit them.
Thank you. We hear a lot about data lakes as a key element to make better use of data. Describe a data lake and the role it plays in network management.
Sure. You're going to get, 100 different answers from 100 different people on this one. But at just a very, very basic level, when we're talking about a data lake, what we're really talking about is an environment in which you have an enormous amount of data, a high quantity of data, as well as highly heterogeneous data that is brought together, integrated, and made mutually interpretable. So that the data are able to relate to one another. And so that really at the end of the day, you're not just collecting data for data's sake, but so that you can run analytics on top of that data. You can use machine learning in order to derive insights from the multitude of data that you're able to collect from your entire system.
So I've had the pleasure today of talking with Joe Lin from Palo Alto Networks. Thanks for joining us, Joe, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.